Welcome to 305 Vox Populi podcast. I'm Mayor Manny Sid, and we have a great guest today with us. I first wanted to thank our incredible sponsor who powered the podcast today. That's Miami Lakes Auto Mall. Thank you to Fred Senra and the entire team there. They do a great job. I also wanted to thank Sergio's Cuban of Miami Lakes for catering today's podcast and providing food for our producers and the entire team. Thank you to Raul Abreu, the operations manager of Sergio's. Shout out to Raul, great job. Really appreciate it. And also, Matter Lakes Academy, the students from Matter Lakes Academy, the Bears, doing a great job producing. This would not be possible if it were for not their hard work. So today's guest, talking about Matter Lakes.
Hey, how you doing, Manny?
Good. We have Principal Rovirosa, affectionately known as Rovi.
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. You know what I really love about Rene Rovirosa is that he's a believer, right? There's a lot of people that do their jobs and they do it because of money. They do it because, you know what, it's a great thing. But Rovi does it because he loves it. And I'll give you guys an example before we get into the discussion. He came by my restaurant not too long ago, and he grabbed me. He said, "Manny, come over here." And he stood there for about 15 minutes just scrolling through pictures of the new gym.
Yeah.
And talking to me how much he loves the students, what that's going to do for student life on campus, why he loves Matter Lakes. And to me, that's something that's so special. We need more of people that believe in what they do, and Rovi is one of them. So welcome to Vox Populi
Thank you,
podcast.
Manny. Thank you. You know, Matter Lakes is the dream of any teacher. You become an administrator slowly with time and experience, and you create a team. Because everything in life is you create a team. Start with your family, and then you extend that to other people, and they work. And if they have the same philosophy and the same idea, that education is the key to create a better community. And I always thought about that since the time when I came from Cuba in 1962. I'm an old timer here. Education is the key.
No, you hit it on the head. That is the greatest. Education is the greatest equalizer in our society. But now that you mentioned Cuba, when you came to the United States in 1962, ahí tengo Jose Martí, tengo los Bambises right behind you. Yeah. And it's something very near to me and my family. I mean, talk to us about that transition, seeing the communists take over Cuba, those thugs literally rip away all the freedoms that we have, in that transition of coming to the land of the free, right?
Yeah, you got to go back to 1962, April 21st. I remember that. I still celebrate April 21st. My parents sent me here, and I was in a plane with a bunch of my age and even a little older and younger. My brother came with me. I was 12 years old, and my brother was 8. And we came here, and this is a table, that's a pen, blue, red, blue, that, this, those, that. That's what I knew about English. And I started in the 6th grade. And in the public school.
What city? What area of Miami?
Lemon City, but it was not Lemon City. It's around the Edison area. That's where Cubans were all over the place, but there were a few. And I remember that that little Americans and Cubans, there was 5 individuals that were with me in the 6th grade. I made it through, and what I remember is, I don't like to remember those days. Picking up bottles, picking up bottles in the street because there were 2 cents and 5 cents, the big ones. Delivering paper, it was like $10 a week. My mother came, and she was the only one. My father stayed back in Camagüey, Cuba. I like to say Camagüey because everybody came Havana, but I'm from Camagüey. I'm still from Camagüey, even though I have not come back. So it was hard. So when people come in and tell me, "Oh, you didn't see communism because you left at 12 years old." No, I lived communism not here in a different way. Struggle, and my mother kept me, "You got to go to school, you got to go to school." And that's what I tell my students. You got to go. stay in school, because you never know what's going to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. And that little tidbit that you mentioned about collecting bottles and cans and delivering newspaper, that made you what you are today. That foundation. I mean, I talked about this last week. It should almost be a prerequisite for some people. Okay, I mean, our generations nowadays don't go through that struggle, and that's why I am so appreciative of your generation of setting that foundation.
Yeah.
You know, we stand on your shoulders, so I really appreciate you sharing that. And between becoming an educator and finishing school, what did you do in those years?
I graduated from high school. My kids graduated from high school. The only university here was the University of Miami, very expensive. And that was when I graduated in 68 from Miami High. I'd like to mention that. There was no place to go. So I went to Miami-Dade, North Campus. Vietnam was going on. I had to be a better student because if not, they will draft you. So I didn't want to go to Vietnam. I didn't believe in Vietnam. So I graduated from Miami-Dade, then went to FAU, to Boca. I had to drive.
The Owls. This is on
The Owls.
The Owls.
Yeah, for my third year, and then went to FIU when it opened in 72. And from there, I realized what I wanted to do, which is, I'm not that good in math, I hate to say that, but I love reading. And that got me into social studies. Because in Cuba, I read about Jose Martí, Antonio Maceo.
Están ahí mismo.
Yeah. And of course, so you forget this, Ignacio Gramonte, which is El Camagüeyano, El Bayardo. And I like history. And I liked the history of Cuba, and then I started reading about the United States, Teddy Roosevelt. Man. And I graduated from FIU. And then I became a teacher in 1972. So I'm about that time where I'm thinking travel, but we cannot travel now. So,
In 1972, school choice did not exist.
No school of choice, and no free education. You had to be good to get paid, and to get paid, and don't get into what some people have to do, which is ask for financial assistance. So then I started with South Day Senior High. And the reason I'm saying that, because I'm going to mention something that is very dear to me. And I don't want to create something but it's true. Because I was a new teacher, I was put on surplus. The principals, like me now, wanted to keep me, but they couldn't because of unions. And they let me go. Somebody picked me up because they knew I was pretty good as a teacher. I started working at Arvida Junior High down there. And in Arvida, Terrence Gardner was the principal and put me there teaching ninth grade civics. That was 1977. And I stayed there in Arvida until Mariel. And I saw in 1980, that was Mariel, so many families that came to Miami. I think it was 110,000 in 1 month, the month of May. And I saw the need of helping these people. So I asked my principal to be moved to Citrus Grove Junior High. And he said, are you leaving Arvida to go to a zone school? At that time it was not zone, but it was, Arvida was here and Citrus was not, And in the auditorium, I had 250 and 300 students. 2 periods. They were all Cuban, Marielitos. We call them Marielitos. And they started talking to me. And I saw how different American history meant to them. Jefferson was a slaver. Washington was a slaver. American imperialism. And I said, no. I went to the principal, and I told the principal, these guys, I cannot teach in English. I have to teach in Spanish. And there was another individual by the name of Danny Tosado. I mentioned because he became a friend of mine. He was in charge of the English department. I was in charge of social studies. And he says, it has to be taught English. And I said, this have to change. The views of these individuals that are coming. America is not that. I cannot teach in English. I can teach the words, capitalism, democracy, put them on the board, on the big screen, but it must be taught the real history of the United States. And that, some principals saw me and they picked me up, Shenandoah, and then Diego Garcia, en paz descanse.
So it sounds like what
The calling.
and your upbringing, you know, how when you came to Miami, the influence, that's what's led you through your career. But that transition, after going through all those years, how was that transition between the public school system and the charter school system? Because I know
There
it's
was no charter at that time. There was
no, not at that time, but later on, 20 years later, because you see it there where you hit it on the head. It's very difficult in a large system to make change, to move things, to do this. In the charter school system, you know, you're accountable you can't point at a superintendent, at a region, you know, you're accountable every day. How has that influenced your
Manny,
your
are
career?
you saying when I make the jump to the charters?
Yes.
No, I was a teacher for 30 years. So in 1999, I hung up the teaching and I went for my wife's business, which was flowers from Colombia. And we started importing flowers and sending it to the warehouses. So I was out, but the business went down. That was 2001, the towers. The towers were hit and all businesses went down. And our business, which was from 99 to 201, went down. And I started looking for a job. And somebody told me, why don't you come and there's a charter school? And I said, what is a charter school? I knew about private schools. I knew about, parochials and things, but I know charter schools. And I started working with the board, the matter board, they hired me. With Judy Marty, hired me, and I became lead teacher and assistant principal, and it started growing because there was a need for better schools. And when there's a need for better school and better education, I don't want to sound, I don't want to blow my trumpet, but I'm there. I believe in it. The education that was not given to me at the time when I came, I wanted to do something better for the newcomers. So I started working with the charter schools in 2003.
And that's I think I met
Hialeah.
you in 2007, 2008 when I was started to serve on the Doral Academy board.
Yes,
And
that's right. I remember that.
I
Manny.
would see you all the time, and I was always fascinated by how much you loved just having, giving opportunities to that next generation. That's something that always stuck out to me. So everything that I see you doing now at Matter Lakes and how proud you are and how they call you Papa Bear, and to me that is, it's so fulfilling, I'm sure, from your end when you look back. So the amount of kids that have gone through your school that you've ensured that they've gotten a good education, that they've moved forward. I'm sure they look back now, they say, you know what? Thank you, Rovi.
No, and through my lifetime, I see students that are lawyers and doctors, and working for the CIA, politicians, and I'm proud of that. It's part of me.
I'll share a quick story. I used to be an aide in the Florida legislature from 2005 through 2012, and I would visit a lot of schools throughout Florida because the representative I first worked for, he was the chair of K-12 education at the time. We led a lot of I actually had a chance to work with Jeb Bush on the final A++ plan and for school choice. But I remember going to a school that had always stuck out to me. We walked in, and we had, I don't remember if it was a teacher, one of the media specialists started screaming at us, saying, "Hey, you're destroying, public schools. You're doing this. You're doing that." But at the end of the conversation, I remember her saying, "No, but my kids go to the private school down the street," and I was like, "Look," in my head, that's when I said, "Look, if school choice is good for you because you can afford it, it should be universal. Parents should have that mobility. We should definitely fund, public schools the way they need to be funded, but people should have," and that's where I myself really started changing my thought process. I was like, look, we need to continue expanding choice, and I've seen it. I've seen it what it is today.
I believe in capitalism, where competition is one of the main things. Forget about charter school and public school, but if you bring competition, Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola, you bring different things and you compete, you have to become better. And by the existence of the charter schools, make the public school better. They had to. And when they become better, we have to become much better. And that is the competition that actually the final is the result, which is the students. They get a better education, a better system on both traditional or the new charter school. Even parochials have to become better. Like Columbus or Pace and Belém, they have to pay teachers more. And because the key of the school is the teachers. Teachers are the ones that are down there in the classroom, in the trenches, like I said. And with better money, you get better teachers, private, charter, or traditional.
No, across the board, and you hit it on the head. Competition is so wonderful because I saw when you all opened what that did to everybody else. For example, now Barbara Goldman is a mega magnet.
Yeah, excellent school too.
Exactly. Principal
Becoming
Sanchez,
better.
a good friend
Sanchez,
of mine.
yes.
HML created the iPrep program.
Yes.
And now one of our council members, Carlos Alvarez, he's the principal at HEA, and Carlos is traveling the nation, opening up schools. But you hit it on the head. Competition improves
for the community.
Everybody on across the board. Because I've seen it here in Miami Lakes. Yeah. We have all A+ schools, and I think it started because of that competition.
Yeah, the competition.
And at the end of the day, who benefits from that competition?
Yeah.
The kids.
The students. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I think you won a big award recently, the Tax Watch Principal of the Year. Why do you think you won that? I mean, how?
It was a surprise to me. I was nominated, and we went with another one, a principal from Hive, Carlos Gonzalez. He was in the middle school from Dade County, and I was from the senior high. And then they were from all over the state. We went to Orlando, and they decided that we were all winners just by being there. All principals there were winners. There were 14 of us. And they picked me as the principal of Florida that year. And that was a big event in my life because, after 40 years of being from teacher to assistant principal, department head, and now principal, they gave me that award. So I still have it in my office. I have it in my house. I have it out there in the portal of the school. So that was 3 years ago. I keep forgetting things. You know what I mean? It comes with age, but I was very proud that.
No, you should definitely very well deserved, and Matter Lakes. I know how important that is to your life every single day. Obviously, God, family is number one. Yeah. But Matter Lakes, what's your favorite thing about waking up every day, going to school? What's the favorite thing about the school?
Well, right now, stay home. No, I'm kidding. No. The favorite thing is talking to students, talking to teachers, and recently, because of we're living in this society that. We're wearing masks, and some parents are afraid of, sending students. There's 35% of the student body goes there. I'm glad that all the teachers that are working on Matter Lakes, except 2 of them, they're all there, and they're all teaching. And slowly, we're opening the school, and since October 5th, I've been saying that, let's come back. They need that. I need that. And then when I wake up in the morning, I like the talk and I express myself talking to students. Good morning, Rovirosa. Hey, good morning. Hey, guy, how you doing? That is needed. And I hope that we get one day like that. And it's working because now more students are coming in. I will say about 50% coming in. So some students come in entire day. Other students come in flex, meaning 2 days of the week and 2 days of the week. About 30% are virtual, meaning that's not the education of the future.
No. It's definitely.
That's not the education.
I think we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think now with the vaccine rolling out, things getting better, therapeutics getting better. So we got to get. I think the brick and mortar model for kids is so vital and so important. You know, obviously there's a lot of kids that can succeed online, but I think we've seen some of those gains nationally, the educational gains, decline. We really got to get back into the classroom in a safe manner, but start moving forward.
No, like Manny, you have it here. There's a guy, I think his quote was "Cuerpo sano, mente sana." That's and you got to increase the athletics, increase the electives. You know, it's not only books. Books are important and reading is important, but also the communication, the leadership that is learned by being part of a club or being part of a sport. That's part of our life. That we belong to something, a sport, and you love. I mean, students love that.
No, absolutely right. Rovi, we're about to wrap up in the next 2 minutes. Any questions you have for me? I know we kind of flip the table here, but that's part of the podcast and the Vox. You got anything on my end?
No, your end, you'll be very supportive, man. That's one of the things that I dream that the school and the government, the city government, state government, especially the city government and Dade County, to be supportive, to be able to do these things that we're doing right now, to talk, and that's to benefit the community, because we're living in it. So not only education, but communication between government officials and be interested. And Manny, you've been supportive even before you were a mayor. So I don't know if this is political or not, but you got my vote.
I appreciate it, Rovi.
You got my vote.
More than anything, I really appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your leadership in the community and what you've done for our kids who are the future generation. You hit it on the head. You look back and you see what they're doing today. Even the kids who are producing the show today, I mean, their future is so bright, and that's due to the great work and the foundation that you set at Matter Lakes. So, Rovi, thank you for joining us.
Manny, thank you.
No, of course. This is part of this is our second one, and we're setting the bar high. You're really these discussions, what you brought today, sets that bar high for that next person that comes in, and those kids that keep talking and
you know, Manny, I want to say something, and also thank you to the economic businessmen of the area, because they're supportive of this thing happening, and they're aware of this thing, and that's a better, like I said, better community.
You're absolutely right.
If everybody's in click.
Comes together. Take care. We'll see you guys next week. Tune in, and happy 305 Vox Populi podcast.